Hi, this is Kevin McFall from the Cognos Analytics product management team, and I wanted to take a few minutes to walk you through some of the great new capabilities that are included in our 11.0.8 release. First up is the ability to set the default run action for your reports. In this case, you can set it to always retrieve the latest saved output, always run the report, or jump straight into the edit mode. Up next, we have the ability to look at my schedules and subscriptions. So regardless of where a report resides within the system, this is a dashboard that allows me to see the status of my schedules as well as make modifications to them. Let's move over to our data modules area. With the data modules, where we've made some improvements in this particular release are around the diagram and trying to make it easier for people to utilize and understand. So as I create a data module here very quickly and flip to my diagram, you can see that by default we've enabled the cardinality at 1 degree. So this allows you to very quickly focus on just what's directly related to each of the elements. As we look at a fact table, everything's related to this one in this case. Now, while it may not seem like a huge change on a small module, as you start to expand this out into bigger modules, this is going to become very important to users. In a previous release, we introduced the concept of a data set. Now, one of the things that we've done in this release is we've updated our data sets to have the design view. Now, with the design view, this operates very similar to what we have in reports, where as I drag and drop, it doesn't query the database, it simply provides these placeholders, and it isn't until I flip to the preview mode to view the data that we actually execute those queries. This will allow you to much more easily and quickly build out those data sets. So speaking of reports, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about reports. So with this, a couple of things that we wanted to highlight. The first being that up at the top here, under our run options, we have the ability to run these reports now as XML. Another thing that we did was as part of R7, we introduced this image library into reports and dashboards. That same extension capability has now presented itself within reports. And we can see here that now all I have to do is create a little extension, upload it into the system, and that can be available across reporting, dashboarding, as well as stories. No longer do I need to go onto the server, drop the images there, and then navigate to them. The other big thing that we introduced as part of the reporting here is the inclusion of latitude and longitude support in maps. And you'll see here underneath my dropdown, I can now change to latitude and longitude. And if I quickly populate my data here with some information, and I'll flip to our page preview, and we can see that the map has been populated, and I can zoom down in and I can see exactly what each of these dots represents. Now, had I used the label, I'd be able to actually have additional information associated with each of these bubbles. All right, up next, let's head in and just take a look at a story that I was building. And what we wanted to do is just showcase a couple things here. So I'm going to quickly build a bar chart of product line and revenue, and I'm going to grab product line and drop it over here. Now, one of the things that we wanted to highlight here is the ability to set a filter at a point in time. So as I click here, you'll see that we have our animation, and now we have this additional highlight. Now with the highlight, what I can do is actually choose a specific item and have the system highlight it as it plays through. Now this is interesting because as I play this, what we'll see is that there's slightly different behavior depending on if the item is visual on the visualization or not. So in this case, we can see how things work. Camping equipment, it's being highlighted. On the bar chart, since it's not visible, it's acting as a filter. So the last things that I want to highlight here are a couple new options. So play all scenes and loop. So what these allow you to do is this will allow the story to play through each scene sequentially without having to interact with it, and then the loop will allow it, once it hits the end, to go back to the start. So if I go through back to the start of my story here, I'll just pop into full screen mode here, and as I play, what we'll see is that the system is going to go through. We're going to start with our title page, show a slightly different view for this visualization. I have a few scenes here. Again, I can still interact and mouse over to view these, but ultimately, as we get towards my last scene that we just created, we'll see that interaction with our highlight at point in time. And now as we finish up, we go back through the cycle. And so, as I say, this is just a few of the capabilities that are included as part of 1108. I do highly suggest and recommend that you head over to our community and check out all the great blog posts that are available by our other product managers. A few of the highlights include things like ambiguous connection support in data modules and dashboards, the ability to increase the limits on our visualizations and dashboards, as well as some new data sources that are being made available. So with that, thank you very much and have a great day.